You keep saying you want to change, but have you looked at your calendar, your habits, your circle? Nothing's moved, and nothing moves until you stop negotiating with your own weakness. Here's the truth nobody wants to hand you straight. The version of you that exists right now, the one who scrolls instead of grinds, who talks instead of builds, who waits for the right mood to show up. That version is done. Not tomorrow, now. Bury him. There's no ceremony for this, no goodbye tour. You just stop being him. From this point forward, your day runs on rails. Wake up, train. Eat like your body is a machine you're maintaining, not a mood you're indulging. Study. Build. Sleep. Repeat. No negotiating with yourself at 6 a.m. No, just 5 more minutes. Anything in your life that doesn't push the mission gets cut. Friends who keep you comfortable, entertainment that numbs you, distractions that feel harmless but cost you hours you'll never get back. Your whole existence should look like discipline from the outside, because it is discipline on the inside. Stop saying eventually. Say now. Stop rehearsing the plan in your head and start executing the first ugly draft of it today. You are not going to stumble into power. You're going to manufacture it, brick by brick, in rooms where nobody's watching and nobody's clapping. That's the part people skip in their heads. The years where no one understands what you're doing, where the effort is invisible, where it just looks like you disappeared. That's exactly where the transformation happens. In the dark, alone. You'll want to quit. Good. That's the old you dying in real term. You'll question whether you're capable. Good. That means you're finally being honest instead of comfortable. Let it hurt. Let it strip you down. Then rebuild. Colder, sharper, faster, harder to rattle than you've ever been. Forget motivation. Motivation is a mood, and moods don't build empires. What you need is something closer to war. A reason to wake up already looking for the next thing to conquer. Get so locked in that people read you as emotionless. Get so focused that your presence alone makes lazy people uncomfortable. And when someone finally asks how you pulled it off, don't give them a TED talk. Just say, I became who I was supposed to be. Let the results speak. No bragging, no highlight reel, just proof. This year isn't a calendar page. It's a battlefield, and whoever survives it, the real, unfiltered version of it, won't walk out the same person who walked in. Different posture, different voice, different standards. Because people who actually change don't just lift heavier weights, they lift their entire ceiling. They raise what they expect from themselves until average feels like a foreign language. So if you've been sitting around waiting for a sign to finally start, this is it. This is the line. The version of you that overthinks everything and finishes nothing dies today. Something else takes his place. Something relentless. You say you want to become dangerous this year? Then stop waiting to feel ready. Danger doesn't ask permission. It doesn't wait for inspiration to strike. It takes what it needs and keeps moving. If you're still chasing comfort, you're not there yet. If you're still finding reasons why now isn't the time, you're not built for what you claim you want. Becoming that version of yourself means deleting the excuses one by one, killing the hesitation before it opens its mouth, and replacing all of it with a discipline so cold it doesn't check in with how you're feeling. It moves whether you're tired, sad, sick, or scared. It doesn't negotiate with your mood. Real strength was never built by people who smiled through everything. It was built by people who stopped running from the hard parts and let the hard parts shape them instead. If you can't sit alone with your own thoughts without flinching, you'll never understand what real power actually feels like. Power isn't a good mood. It's doing the necessary thing when every part of you is begging you to stop. It's saying no to comfort on purpose. It's killing distractions before they quietly kill your year. This year won't hand you anything for free. It's going to test you, knock you down, and then just wait. Wait to see if you break. But if you've actually decided to become something more, you don't break. You adjust, you evolve, you keep standing. When the world pushes, you push back twice as hard. The version of you that's actually dangerous doesn't train to look good in photos. He trains to be capable of anything. He doesn't read to sound smart at dinner. He studies like his life depends on it, because eventually it will. He doesn't post his grind for validation. He goes quiet and builds until the results make noise for him. While other people are busy talking about their goals, He's already 3 steps into executing his. While they're unwinding on the weekend, he's calculating his next move. While they're relaxing into comfort, he's getting familiar with discomfort on purpose, so it stops having power over him. And by the time they notice him, it's already too late to catch up, because he wasn't trying to compete. He was building something they can't touch. You want that? Then stop living like a spectator. Spectators want balance. Builders want obsession. Spectators need a pep talk to get moving. Builders run on something rawer than motivation. Spectators chase pleasure. Builders chase purpose. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's lonely. You don't get stronger avoiding the hard stuff. You get stronger walking straight into it without flinching. You get stronger choosing the harder, lonelier path. Killing your own comfort, drowning out the voice that keeps whispering, take a break. There is no break built into this. There's only the next rep. People love the word impossible. They hear it and immediately accept defeat. It's the perfect excuse to stay exactly where they are. But if you actually want results, other people can't explain. You have to burn that excuse to the ground. You have to start thinking differently. Detached, unbothered by hope or doubt, locked onto one single output, results. Most people spend their whole life measuring effort, how hard they tried, how much they deserve. But reality doesn't grade on effort. It doesn't care about fairness. It only registers one thing. Did you get it done, or didn't you? Win or lose, that's the entire scoreboard. Until your mind accepts that brutal simplicity, you'll stay stuck in the middle forever. People cling to comforting stories. Hard work always pays off. Kindness always comes back around. Some invisible force is steering them towards success. Look around and ask yourself where the proof actually is. How many hardworking people never get the payoff? How many good people get used, discarded, forgotten? How many dreamers wake up one day and realize the dream never had a plan behind it? That's the uncomfortable truth most people avoid, because facing it is terrifying. Facing it head on, though, is exactly what changes everything. If you want outcomes that look impossible from the outside, strip away everything unnecessary. Stop operating purely on emotion, excuse, and hesitation. Start operating like a strategist. Calculate your moves. Exploit every real opportunity. Leave zero room for self-pity. People treat life as unfair like an insult. It's not. It's actually the best news you'll ever get. Because if life were perfectly fair, nothing you did would matter. The outcome would already be locked in. It's precisely because the world is chaotic and unpredictable that the right mindset and the right execution can bend it in your favor. Here's why most people never break through. They want comfort more than they want the outcome. They want to be seen trying more than they want to actually finish. They talk about motivation, but motivation is unreliable. It shows up when it wants and leaves when things get hard. What actually gets you through is discipline sharp enough to move you forward regardless of how you feel that day. A soldier doesn't wait to feel like marching. He marches. You, if you want the results that look impossible, have to operate the same way. This isn't about switching off your humanity. It's about controlling it. Most people are run by their emotions, their fear, their doubt. Flip the relationship. Use fear as fuel. Use doubt as information you can act on. Use discomfort as proof that you're actually growing. Just never let any of it steer the wheel. Rule 1. Stop waiting for things to get easier, because they won't. Make yourself capable of handling hard instead. When life hits, don't spiral. Adapt. When someone lets you down, don't collapse. Recalculate. When something blocks your path, don't stop. Go through it or find the door around it. Rule 2. Take emotion out of your decisions. That doesn't mean stop feeling things. It means stop letting the feeling make the call. You're allowed to be angry, just don't act from anger. You're allowed to be scared, just don't let fear pick your next move. Judge every decision by one question only. Did this get me closer to where I'm going, or further away? If it moved you backward, cut it. No debate. Rule 3. Don't show your full hand. There will always be people who'd rather see you fail than see you rise. If you want big, hard-to-explain results, you need to master silence. Move quietly. Build quietly. Strike when the timing is actually right, not when your ego wants credit. The most dangerous version of you isn't loud. It's the one that moves so quietly nobody sees it coming until it's already done. Rule 4. Control how you're perceived. Results matter, but perception opens or closes doors before results even happen. If people underestimate you, let them. That's leverage, not an insult. Never waste energy fighting battles you don't need to fight. Win the position before the fight even starts, and you save all the energy other people burn on unnecessary conflict. Understand something most people can't stomach. Getting to the impossible version of your life means walking a lot of it alone. People will call you cold, detached, too intense. Maybe some of that is fair. But the world doesn't belong to the most agreeable person in the room. It belongs to the person willing to face reality exactly as it is, not as they wish it were. That road is lonely, yes. It's also the only road that actually leads somewhere real. Because once you stop depending on comfortable lies, you're finally free. Not happy necessarily, but free. And free lasts a lot longer than happy does. That kind of freedom costs something. You'll be misread. Sometimes disliked. Sometimes feared. But you won't be broken, because you're no longer playing by the fragile rules everyone else lives under. You'll have to let go of the version of comfort you used to know. You'll spend real time in the dark, alone, facing things that would flatten most people. But if you hold the line, stay level, stay disciplined, keep your eyes on the target, you come out the other side unrecognizable to everyone who knew the old you. And eventually they stop laughing and start watching in silence, because deep down, they know you've become something they can't touch anymore. This isn't a call to become someone else entirely. It's a call to think differently. Because thinking this way means you stop being at the mercy of luck, chance, or circumstance. You become the one steering the outcome instead of hoping for one. So ask yourself again, do you actually want the results everyone calls impossible? Then stop lying to yourself about why you haven't started. Stop hiding behind soft excuses. Stop waiting for someone else to hand you permission. Think in cold, plain reality. Results are the only currency. Win or lose. No excuses, no illusions. The world is harsh. Match it. The world doesn't care how hard you tried. Give it something it literally cannot ignore. Rule 1 of surviving anything real. Stop showing people where you're bleeding. Everyone hurts. That part's universal. What separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't is simple. The ones who don't make it broadcast every wound looking for sympathy. The ones who do make it to keep their wounds private and let their results speak instead. Showing your pain doesn't fix it. It doesn't heal anything. It just tells everyone exactly where you're soft, and the world doesn't rush in to help. It rushes in to take advantage, or worse, it just moves on without you. Sympathy fades fast. Attention is temporary. But the work you do quietly to actually heal, that compounds forever. Think about every time you cried out for help. How many people genuinely showed up for you? Most people are drowning in their own situation. They don't have the bandwidth to carry yours too. Your battles are, at the end of the day, yours to fight. Nobody else can bleed in your place. You can scream. You can beg the world to slow down. It won't. It keeps moving regardless of how loud your pain gets. And when it's quiet again, the pain is still sitting there. Yours, alone, waiting for you to actually deal with it, instead of performing it. Pain, used right, is a teacher. It reshapes you if you let it work on you quietly, instead of putting it on display. The moment you wear every crack on your face for the world to see, you're not healing, you're leaking. You're handing people a map straight to your weak spot. Nature figured this out a long time ago. An injured animal doesn't limp in front of the pack because the second weakness shows, it gets exploited. People aren't different. Some of them are looking for exactly that opening. The people who look unbreakable were never actually unbreakable. They just never let you watch them break. They walked into rooms composed while something was actively wrecking them internally. That composure, not the absence of pain, is what built the reputation. Respect runs on perception. If people see you as fragile, that's the role you'll be handed. If they see steadiness even while you're struggling, that's the reputation you'll build. Ask yourself honestly, do you want pity or do you want respect? Because you rarely get both. Exposing everything might get you sympathy for a week. Holding it together gets you something that lasts. Nobody remembers the person who complained the loudest. They remember the one who clearly went through something and never once made it everyone else's problem. That's who gets remembered. Hiding your pain doesn't mean pretending it's not there. It means owning it privately, feeling it fully behind closed doors, letting it carve you into someone tougher, and then stepping outside with your composure intact. Cry where no one can see it. Process where no one's watching. Then walk out like nothing touched you. Do that enough times and it stops being a performance. It becomes who you actually are. Vulnerability has its place, but it's not everywhere. In safe spaces, with the right people, it's healthy. In the open, competitive parts of life, unfiltered vulnerability just tells predators where to strike. Real strength is being fully honest with yourself, in private and composed in public. That's not fake, that's controlled. Life is going to keep sending storms your way. Setbacks, betrayals, disappointments. You can't dodge all of them. What you control is how you carry them. Wear them on your face, and you invite pity. Carry them quietly. Let them sharpen you, and you become someone the world genuinely struggles to shake. Pain is unavoidable. Broadcasting it is a choice. Choose the quieter one. Now, becoming someone people take seriously without you saying a word. That's a different skill entirely. And it starts with subtraction, not addition. True presence doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need to. The loudest person in a room is rarely the one actually deciding what happens in it. Real influence is quiet until it moves. And then it moves once, decisively. If you want that kind of presence, start by keeping your ambitions to yourself. Don't broadcast the size of what you're building. Let other people talk about the plans they never finish while you quietly train in the background. They'll burn their energy performing. You'll spend yours preparing. Patience becomes a weapon here. While everyone else rushes to impress and overshares their intentions, you stay calm enough to wait for the actual right moment. The quiet ones get underestimated constantly, and that's not a disadvantage, it's cover. Let the mockery sharpen your focus instead of derailing it. Speak only when it matters. Move only when it gives you an edge. Every extra word, every unnecessary explanation is intel you're handing to people who might use it against you later. Reveal less, and you keep the one advantage that actually matters. Surprise. Let your posture do some of the talking. Stand like someone who isn't performing anything, who's simply present and ready. No wasted movement, no anxious gestures, no scrambling for attention. Let stillness carry weight. Let your eyes look like they're calculating rather than searching for approval. Your voice, when you use it, should land harder because you don't use it constantly. Silence beforehand makes whatever you finally say hit different. Keep it short. Keep it necessary. People remember weight, not volume. There's power in scarcity too. The person who's always around gets ignored. The person who shows up with purpose gets noticed. Make your presence something people actually register, not background noise. None of this works without real discipline behind it, though. Sloppy habits can't fake genuine composure for long. Sleep on a schedule. Train your body until it's dependable. Read until you start noticing patterns other people miss completely. Small, boring routines compound into something that eventually looks unshakable from the outside. Keep your circle tight. A loud, wide entourage actually dilutes your presence. It looks like you need backup. The people worth trusting are usually few, and the people worth studying are many. Watch how people behave, where they hesitate, what they avoid saying, what their patterns reveal about their actual intentions. Most people give themselves away if you're patient enough to notice. Let other people talk first and talk more. Listening beats talking almost every time strategically. When someone offers up information freely, take it without rushing to match it with your own. Staying a little unreadable keeps people slightly off balance, and off balance is where real leverage lives. Build a reputation for being hard to predict, but not chaotic. There's a real difference. Chaos is just noise with no direction. Genuine unpredictability is deliberate. It's controlled surprise, not instability. One creates fear through respect. The other creates fear through distrust, and distrust doesn't build anything lasting. Let competence speak for you instead of explanations. When you consistently deliver, you stop needing to justify yourself. Tasks get finished, problems quietly disappear. That kind of track record builds more authority than any amount of talking ever could. Even your environment says something about you. A clean, intentional space signals control. A chaotic one signals the opposite, whether you mean it to or not. Pay attention to how people manage their own space. It often tells you how they'll manage bigger responsibilities. Build quiet forms of security too. Financial independence, real knowledge, emotional steadiness. None of these shout, but all of them change outcomes. When you can act without needing permission or bailout money, you become genuinely unpredictable to people who assumed they had leverage over you. Carry a real sense of purpose everywhere you go. People with direction don't need external validation to justify existing the way they do. Their consistency speaks for itself, and that kind of consistency is hard to argue with or dismiss. Train yourself to be capable in more than one dimension. Someone who can handle pressure and still be composed, thoughtful, even kind when it counts. That range is unsettling to people who expect you to fit one box. It keeps them guessing, which keeps you protected. Don't waste your reactions on things that don't matter. Every petty provocation thrown your way is bait. Take it and you hand over leverage for free. Walk past the nonsense and people learn quickly that your attention isn't cheap. Small, repeated discomforts, an early alarm, a hard workout, a skipped indulgence, teach your mind and body to tolerate friction instead of needing comfort constantly. Over time, that tolerance becomes obvious to everyone around you, even if you never mention it. Keep your face and your reactions steady. A calm, unreadable expression gives people less to work with. But don't let that mask become a way of lying to yourself. Process things privately, honestly, even if the outside stays composed. The mask should be a choice, not a wall you can't take down when it's just you. Understand this clearly. Being respected takes time. Being taken seriously happens faster because caution moves quicker than admiration does. If your presence alone makes people pause and think twice, you've already changed how situations unfold before you've done anything else. None of this holds up without maintenance either. Train consistently, reflect honestly, cut relationships that only drain you. Keep your finances in a place that lets you act independently. Keep learning because complacency is what quietly kills this whole approach. The version of you that stops improving stops being taken seriously, eventually. When someone tries to provoke you publicly, silence is usually the strongest response you have. Let your composure be the statement. If action is actually necessary, make it precise and clean. Then, go quiet again. Let people fill in the rest with their own assumptions. That story usually works in your favor more than any explanation you could give. When you negotiate anything, a deal, a conflict, a relationship, calm decides the terms more than volume ever will. The person who isn't rushing, usually gets more than the person who is. Stillness isn't passivity here. It's stored energy, ready to move the moment it actually needs to. And in the end, none of this is really about being feared for its own sake. It's about never needing anyone's permission to move, never needing applause to know your worth, and never needing to explain yourself to people who are never going to understand the process anyway. Build that quietly, consistently, and the world eventually rearranges itself around the fact that you can't be rattled. Here's the last piece, and maybe the most important one. Control starts with detachment, not domination. Most people react before they think. One push, and they show you everything, every weakness, every button that works on them. Don't be that predictable. Stay unreadable. No one should be able to look at your face and know exactly what moved you. Add patience on top of that. Urgency makes people reckless. They rush to win fast, rush to be seen, and in doing so, they expose their whole strategy too early. Wait longer than the people around you and you'll notice something. Time itself starts working for you instead of against you. While they're burning through options, you're gathering information. Pay attention to everything. The words people choose, the contradictions in their stories, the small tells and how they move. Awareness, sharpened by patience, becomes its own form of power. The less you need to react, the more you actually see. Let go of the need to be publicly right or publicly seen as the winner. Pride makes you predictable because it makes you need an audience. Real control doesn't require credit. It just requires the outcome to bend the way you intended it to. Whether or not anyone ever traces it back to you, stay flexible. Rigid plans break the moment reality doesn't cooperate, and reality rarely cooperates. The ability to adjust mid-stride, to treat a setback as new information instead of a disaster, is what keeps you standing while everyone with a fixed plan is scrambling. And finally, become hard to read. When people can't measure your strengths or weaknesses accurately, they can't prepare for you effectively. That's not weakness. That's the highest level of strategy there is. Staying calm, staying detached, staying disciplined enough that nothing external gets to dictate your next move. Practice this daily. Hold silence when you want to speak. Observe when you want to react. Wait when you want to rush. Over time, you'll notice situations stop overwhelming you the way they used to, because you're no longer moving like someone reacting to life. You're moving like someone who already accounted for most of it in advance. Kill the need for recognition. Sharpen your silence. Get comfortable being underestimated. Master your own reactions before you try to master anything else. Because the person who can't be provoked, can't be predicted, and can't be rattled is the person who ends up controlling the room without ever raising their voice. That's the whole game. Not noise, not force, not proving anything to anyone. Just calculation, patience, quiet, and complete ownership of yourself first. Get that right, and every room you walk into eventually bends around the fact that you can't be moved.